because in 2025, some pay-per-views have been announced. They're pretty sweet what they threw out there. The UFC said the main event and co-main event for UFC 311 on January 18th would be Islam Makhachev defending against Arman Sarukian. And in the co-main event, it'll be Merab Dvalishvili against Umar Nurmagomedov. And then on February 9th, UFC 312, they already told us what's going down there. Dricus du Plessis defends against Sean Strickland. And in the co-main event, Zhang Weili defends against Tatiana Suarez. So I'm going to be Mick Maynard or Sean Shelby and play matchmaker. Guys, what's the better fight card? 311 or 312 if we pit them against each other? Goes, what do you like? What are you more excited about?
It is absolutely neck and neck. I really like, if you look at them both, obviously we have 2 rematches, right? You have 1 on each one. So then you drop down 1. And I'll be honest with you, that Tatiana Suarez fight with Zhang Weili, I just feel like she's probably one of the last people that can really push Zhang Weili everywhere in that fight. The improvements that Tatiana Suarez has shown have been pretty remarkable. So I'm kind of more intrigued about that fight. So I'm going to lean a little bit slightly more that way, but it is absolutely neck and neck.
Nolan?
They're all great fights. No complaints on the booking here, but I think, to be honest, I think this is kind of easy. I think UFC 311 is just super intriguing to me. I think that the difference in the rematches is we just saw Dricus and Sean fight less than a year ago as of now. And the Arman Islam fight is like a totally different fight. These two guys have really evolved. They've really become elite fighters. And sure, maybe stylistically, a Strickland versus du Plessis fight is going to turn into a banger. But I honestly don't know that the main event and co-main event at 311, like I don't know how it's going to play out. I think they're both great fights. They, obviously the co-main event has a little bit of heat behind it. I'm a huge fan of that. Maybe I'm a little biased because that card in general is very tremendous as well. It's very deep, but as much as I like all 4 of these fights, the Suarez Zhang Weili fight is also fantastic. I just think that 1-2 punch of kicking off the year with the lightweight and bantamweight title fights, I'm hooked.
All right, Matt, you're going to make one of these two the dissenting judge because Goes likes 312. Nolan likes 311. What do you like?
Man, I like Goes' point for 312, right? I mean, I've been banging the Tatiana Suarez drum since, her Ultimate Fighter win. I'm really intrigued, right? I mean, this is somebody that would have been a champion a long time ago, I think, if she didn't have constant injuries keeping her on the sidelines, right? So I'm intrigued to see if she can actually finally get it done. But your main event, co-main event at 311 is just better, simply. I mean, comparatively. I mean, it's I don't think Sean Strickland should have gotten the rematch. Listen, we got 2 great fights. We got the pound for pound #1 fighter in Islam Makhachev, right? Or number 2, depending on who you ask. And then that co-main event with Merab and Umar is just fantastic. That's going to be a chaotic fight for however long it lasts. If it does, I mean, listen, they're all great fights, like Nolan said. But yeah, 311.
Wow, this is like bachelor drama. I mean, Matt almost got on a knee and proposed the Goes, and then at the end he said, "But I can't do it." Nolan's my true love, so he sides with Nolan here.
Yep.
Good stuff there. All right. It's hey, by the way, the rest of 3-1 is pretty insane. Moicano versus Dariush, and there was another sick fight that got signed there. I want to get to the super chat by Lazy Bed. Segura scored it for Gon. All right, so he's running a little bit behind, but it's funny because he said Danny be tripping. It's true, folks. MMA Decisions had everyone scoring it for Gon. The only outlet that didn't was Junkie, and Danny Segura was our play-by-play guy. And he would be smiling at this because he loves some of this. So great eye, Lazy Bed, by saying that, and that's why I go back in time to address that. Also, I want to give some shout out to Masters of the Universe, who was saying, I want to see you guys deck out your sets a little bit. So I got myself a little tree there. Yeah. And Goes has some green and red going on with his.
He said you were the only one that did it. I'm not Freddy Krueger. Like this Christmas shit back here, no?
Well, but those are also Mexican colors. So maybe he thought, September 16th. Or you're feeling the Irish. It's got some Irish colors too, because I'm
feeling attacked today. I felt like Matt Wells was on my side, and it was one of those WWE things where we both have our arms up. He turned around,
lifted your arm, and then he cold slide.
I was on Amazon. I was buying his gift, and then he took Nolan's side. It's like,
Yeah.
this was
Goes, what
rough.
color,
boy,
what shade of
boy.
green is that?
An ugly
Is it
one.
Celtic green? A little bit.
A
Mm,
very ugly shade of green.
mm.
I think it was Puke, I think was the name of it. I don't know.
Hey guys, it falls on us because again, Dana wasn't in the mood, but was Duplessis versus Strickland the right call? Remember, everybody was really stoked over Khamzat Chimaev and his performance not too long ago, and how he might leap over Strickland. And Strickland better play ball because he's saying he wanted it to be in the USA. Hey, you never know, they might go to Khamzat, but they didn't. Nolan, was it the right call though to stick with the rematch versus the fresh matchup?
I mean, I was more intrigued by the Khamzat fight. I'm not a fan of running fights back so quickly. On the other hand, they did seem to lead Strickland down a path of like, you've got the next shot. So it was kind of a weird scenario. I understand why they went with Sean to a certain degree, but then there's also a lot of questions as to, you know, is it a travel issue with Khamzat? Is it, you know, was he not ready for some reason? I think we've heard conflicting things about, you know, he's fought in the States, he fought in Florida. He's said in the past he doesn't have an issue. I think Dana said it, but we've only seen him, I believe, that one time outside. So I don't know, man. I mean, hopefully it's, you know, something that can get rectified, and we see that fight right on the other side of this. Big part of this too that people forget about is them, you know, they have a schedule, they have all these deals that they have signed with different locations that require certain amounts of title fights or whatever. So that could be part of it too, is there's a huge element when it comes to matchmaking that not always the best fight is going to be made because they need to fill these slots. So that could be that's a major factor in a lot of these that I think we overlook at times as well.